Party people, welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week on the show, I am joined by Andrew Sherman for a game of The Old, the Cold, and the Bold, currently on Kickstarter. The Old, the Cold, and the Bold is a role-playing game about gig economy supervillains. Players take on the role of desperate criminals taking on shady jobs through a gig economy app and getting into varying degrees of superpowered trouble along the way. With mechanics inspired by Lady Blackbird, it is an absolute joy to play. I really enjoy this game. It hits the exact vibe that I love so dearly. The game is currently on Kickstarter. As of the day of this release, it's got about 2 weeks left. It's got a little bit ways to go before it funds, so I would love for you to go check out the game, back it, make it a reality, because I love this game and I want to own a copy. You can find more information about The Old, the Cold, and the Bold in the show notes. Andrew, in addition to being my most hated nemesis, is a podcaster on the Moonshot Podcast Network. He is one of the hosts of the Argonauts alongside friend of the show and past guest Marn, where they talk about ARGs and break down what worked and what didn't. He is also one of the hosts of the podcast Minds There, But for the Grace of Pod Go We, where he and friend of the show Riley Hopkins take listener-submitted prompts and turn them into award-winning podcasts, or at least podcast-adjacent ideas in theory. And he is one of the hosts of Mild Mannered, which is a MILF Manor rewatch podcast that he hosts with his mother, which is one of the best podcast pitches I've ever heard in my life. Andrew is a delight. He is a wonderful person. He also notedly hates actual play, which makes the fact that he did this episode very funny. Anyway, you can find his work at moonshotpods.com. You can find him on Twitter at co-host_Sherms, or you can check the show notes for links to all of the things that he's working on. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I'm not happy this week because I have my most hated enemy on the show, but sometimes we have to make certain concessions. This week I am joined by Andrew Sherman. Andrew, hello. Well, thank you for joining me on the show.
Hey, I finally barged into the room. How you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you doing, my friend?
I hate to hear it. I'm also doing well.
At least neither of us is happy knowing that the other person is thriving. That's what matters.
You're having a good day. You're enjoying yourself. Damn.
I am so happy to have you on the show. I am so happy to have the game that we're going to be playing today, because you and I have been talking about playing a game in this vein for a very long time, and I could not be more excited. But before we get to that, why don't you take a moment and let our lovely listeners at home know about anything you've got going on that you might want them to know about?
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew Sherman. I am the creative director of the Moonshot Network, a podcasting network that makes shows that break orbit, I think is the new tagline we've landed on.
It's a sick tagline.
I like it a lot. We do a lot of really cool shows, including the 3 that I am currently actively on. I do the Argonauts podcast, which is a podcast devoted to looking at old alternate reality games, seeing what makes them tick, and breaking down weird internet ephemera that come up along the way. In addition to that, I am one of the podcast miners on the podcast Minds, There But for the Grace of Pod Go We, a podcast-themed podcast where we do a comedy show. Riley Hopkins and I, who's a regular contributor to Party of One, we try to pitch each other on what podcast we should start. We haven't figured out what we should start yet. We're 100 and something episodes in. One of these days, we'll start a podcast.
Yeah, please tell me about the third show, because it's extremely important.
The third and most important show, TLC, the Learning Channel as it used to be known as, is currently running a very educational program called MILF Manor. It is a dating show in which a bunch of MILFs showed up at a manor where they were going to be dating younger men, and it turned out that the younger men that they would all be dating are their sons. So it's a dating show where everyone's running around trying to date each other's moms. The show's not very good, but I do have a recap podcast for it. I wanted to start recapping a dating show, and when I started, turned out that my mom was there too. Mild Mannered is the name of the show. It is a recap of MILF Manor featuring me and my own mother, where I get to do things like explain to her what a foot guy is, and she gets to tell the internet how I had sex ed as a kid. So it really goes both ways.
I truly love Mild Mannered a lot. I love all of the podcasts that you make a whole lot. I have been on 2 of the 3. When are you going to invite me on Mild Mannered is, I think, the question.
Honestly, my mom doesn't want you is the problem. I've been pitching, and she says no.
That's fair. It's sort of a family rivalry. I get it now. Mm-hmm. So this week we are playing The Old, the Cold, and the Bold, which is a supervillain henchman game about the gig economy and criminals doing crimes.
Yeah, I didn't know this game existed. I'm excited to get into it.
You and I have been talking about playing a henchman-themed game for a very long time as two fans of a show that maybe, hopefully, still exists called The Venture Brothers.
I keep seeing headlines that are just like, they're definitely making the movie. It's definitely happening. And it's one of those things. It's like Kingdom Hearts 3 for me, where I'm just like, I will not believe you until there is a disc in my hand that I can put into a player and it will pop up and say, hello, you're watching the Venture Bros movie. It's real now.
The thing is, we're gonna pop that disc into the DVD player and it's gonna be the HBO Max guy just laughing at us for 40 minutes. That's what it's gonna be. I'm not convinced that's not the case yet. So, this is The Old, the Cold, and the Bold. The premise in a nutshell is that we are criminals working for an app called Sybin. You know, in the old days, it was pretty rough for costume supervillainy, I'm not gonna lie. Villain fought villain in defiance of our shared love of crime.
With streets so clogged with blood of villains shed, the lords of hell did dance to greet the dead.
So much fighting. So much bloodshed. I mean, it was a nightmare. It was every f***ing mobster mask for themselves over here. Oy. I just remember saying to my genetic super monster, there's got to be a better way. And then I learned about Sybin. Sybin. Sybin! Sybin!
A pact of aid in our unholy fight. An app for those who seek to crime by night.
It connects supervillains to people who want to do illegal things. All cash only, all off the books. It's a perfect system. I can log on day or night, 24/7, and find specialized illegal jobs for me and my lightning gun, and that's perfect for my non-traditional schedule.
Also, it offers the Snitch app, the only social media network exclusively for costume supervillains.
It's backed by social media mogul Sunshine, so you know it's trustworthy.
And it's fucking simple enough that even I can use it, you know what I mean? Wait, hey, what the fuck you laughing at? What the fuck, you think I'm a clown? You think I'm a fucking clown? Sybin, a better app for better villainy. Download it in the App Store today.
All of the S's in those words are dollar signs.
Are dollar signs, which is just a great little touch. I truly love the way that this game just leans extremely hard into like you are in the worst version of an app economy hellscape, and it is good in that I feel my soul exiting my body as I flip through it.
Yeah, they're big competitors. The crime app, just CRM with a fancy little logo.
Ugh, I hate it. I hate it a lot. That is just genuinely a great premise for some dirtbag supervillains get together and do shit that I am immediately on board for it.
Yeah, I like the idea behind this. I like it a lot.
So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. We're going to go through like what our relationship to the app is, what the job is. We're going to run through the job and then kind of see what happens after. But before we do that, we are going to make some characters.
Cool.
So there are 3 character types in The Old, the Cold, and the Bold. They are the old, which is this is not your first rodeo. You are a cranky old person. There is the cold, which is you are a cold-hearted killer. And then there is the bold, which is you are a hothead social media mogul.
I know myself well enough to know that I need to be the old. I feel like I bring the old energy to a lot of things that I do. So I'm happy to. I would like to be the old. I like being a henchman that probably should have been a supervillain by now, but just didn't have it in him.
I love that a lot, and I'm truly like. I was going to go with the bold because I feel like that's a good contrast, but the cold does have a character option where you have a trust fund, and the idea of a henchman the idea of like a low rent supervillain getting into supervillainy just because they're bored.
Henching for sport.
Yeah, that's henching for fuck. That's really good, and I'm fully leaning into the Craven aesthetic is very, very good to me. Is the thing.
Does this leaderboard have, or does this app have a leaderboard?
I think it does. I believe it canonically does have a leaderboard. I think it canonically does have rankings. I'm gonna say like I believe it does. I believe it does mention it in the book, but if it doesn't, I am just fully leaning into the existence of a leaderboard because that is sick. All right, so here's how this is going to work. We have a number of qualities We are going to pick 5 of these qualities. These are our tags. They are noted on the book, or they are noted on each of our character sheet. They are specific to our characters. They fall into categories which are character specific. So yours are the old and mine are the cold. And then we have 3 other like subset categories, mine being athletic, defensive, and silver spoon. And then there are some tags underneath that. So for the cold, there is assertive, composed, meticulous, observant, persuasive, sardonic, and sybaritic. Just to give an example, I'm not going to read through all of them, but we are going to pick 5 of them to give us an idea of what our character's deal is.
All right, 5 from this list as a whole.
Yeah. 5 from in any combination from these 4 subcategories.
All right. You want to just go one of us goes through all of them, and then the other one goes through them all, or do you want to just like draft them?
Let's go back and forth. That sounds great.
Okay. God, one of these really sticks out to me. Under damage control, one of the things that I can pick is just called skeletons.
Oh, fuck.
Does that mean I have skeletons in my closet, or that I'm very good at dealing bone damage? Either way, I do think that I want to figure out whatever skeletons is and play toward it.
That feels good. That feels really good. I have etiquette on here, and the idea of like, I immediately get a picture in my head of like my most hated person, like one of my most hated people on the internet. I hate that brand of like, here's how rich people should act TikTok people. I hate them truly.
Yeah, the ones that are just like, the bad millionaire doesn't like the people around him. The good millionaire, or like $1 million, you're mean to people. But $10 million, you're good to people. They're good millionaires.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
It's miserable,
It makes my blood boil, so I have to play that asshole.
Okay, sounds good. I'm looking through. I'm trying to think. As an old, what do I want this guy to be? I like the idea. I like insightful. I like a henchman that has been around the block, knows a thing or two. I've always liked the trope of a guy looking around and being like, okay, 3 of them are armed.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I like being that person. So let's choose, what did I just say? Insightful. Let's choose that.
I'm going to go immediately. I've got my next one because it has running on here, and that's funny to me. The idea of just, nah, fuck this. No, I'm good. Goodbye.
Sonic the Hedgehog, you're just ready to like get in, get out, be fast.
Yes, exactly.
All right, you know what? I'm going to take tough for athletic. I always like the pairing of one quick guy versus one guy that's just like, no, hold on. I'll take a couple hits, but like, please wait for me. I'll take tough.
I am going to take, under defense, I have piggyback, which, like, I love that what I'm envisioning is a little bit of a mix of, like, like, this is enough of a game to me that I will play, that I will, like, happily do, like, tag team maneuvers, but also I will jump on somebody's back strictly to fight dirty and just, like, jab them in the eyes and get chased around the room as they fire off. Like, that level of, like, cowardly dirty fighting feels extremely satisfying to me.
All right. I think that I'm also going to take a defense one. I think that you like to get in and get dirty, and I'm going to take rescue. I think that I'm used to saying, like, God, it's my job to get you out of here. I got this. I've been in the game long enough to, like, let other henchmen not get killed. That's kind of my... I don't want to keep training people, I think, is more my attitude than it is I have a duty to you all or anything like that. But I do think that, like, one in the hand is worth 2 newbies.
I like that. I really like that. I did have a name in mind, and I'd forgotten it until I saw that dancing is an option on mine, and I'm taking dancing. I have taken dance classes. I have a personal dance instructor at my mansion, and I've learned like fencing and dancing and very kind of like elegant movement, and that is a big thing for me.
Okay. I think See, I'm torn. On one hand, I want to take another one from the old category because I feel like I should lean into the things that make me different from other playbooks. But also, cleanup is really sticking out to me.
That does feel really good.
There's something fun about being the guy that's like, hey, sweep up the glass. Like, hey, make sure, hey, don't leave a witness. Like, being the guy that like is dotting the I's and crossing the T's, I kind of like that idea. I think I'm going to go for cleanup.
That feels good. I should take something. I feel like I should take a tag that is at least like justifies my presence at least a little bit. I'm going to take meticulous. No, I'm going to take educated. Educated feels good. I'm thinking a gadgety tech bro feels like a good aesthetic, right? Like the tech bro that built himself it's the Spider-Man Sauron meme of like, why are you turning people into dinosaurs? It's because I want to turn people into dinosaurs. I had genuinely the ability to build like interesting technology. And it's like, it's more fun if I build like a parkour suit for robbing banks than anything else.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
All right. So now we are going to choose one of our like an offensive option. We have 4 options here, which are firearms, improvised, physical, or a weapon. What is your character's like offensive style?
I am torn 2 ways. There's a part of me that wants to say that I've been around the block long enough that I just said, you know what, and bought a gun, and I'm not afraid to do the like, you know, the Indiana Jones sees a guy swirling a sword around and just kind of rolls his eyes and shoots him. There's a part of me that wants to be that. The other part of me wants to be the guy that is just like, look, if I'm in a room, I can improvise a weapon here. I've been around the block long enough to know that board from like a crate, I can smack a guy with that. I think I want to be improvised. I think improvised tells a better story than just a guy that's willing to shoot you.
That feels good. I really like that. I'm going to go with weapon, and I'm specifically going to just mark it as like nonsensical gadgets very specifically. Like, do you remember? It's really dumb. Is the only like the like weird electro ear thing that Jeff Bridges uses in the first Iron Man to like make Tony Stark have a seizure or something.
Yeah, you have your bat shark repellent and you're ready to go.
It's just that. Yeah, it's just fully that. Just every single like I have a weird like laser grids and things that I will just roll out that are needlessly elaborate for the kinds of work that we are getting roped into.
Okay, I like that.
All right. So we've got our let me find out let me remind myself what the next step of character creation is. We've got our okay. So next thing we're going to do is we are going to buy some secrets. You should have 3 secrets on your sheet, on your character sheet. There's also a 4th option for one because we are playing a 2-player game. You are going to pick 2 of them, and those are going to inform your character. There is also, if you look on page 6 of the PDF, there is also some special options for a 2-player game, which relate to us being an experienced criminal and their bumbling associate. So you're going to pick 2 of those secrets, and then we'll read them out and talk through them, and then those will be things that will get us in trouble, and then we can that will give us a bit of a special ability. I am 100% picking Secret of the Trust Fund. You have been raised to solve problems with cash. People are more agreeable when they see the row of zeros on the check you cut, provided they are willing to accept a bribe. So I will be able to like buy things. I have extra cash on hand because like this isn't really about like the money for me.
I like that. I have one of the things that we have to set as our username for our character, which is just like our name, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what if my username is just Ted? I'm like the guy that got in on the ground floor and set his username to his actual name, but there's no numbers after it. There's no like number 4823 like you'd find on a Discord. People look and they're just like, what do you mean this guy got in back when you could have a 3-letter username?
That's really funny. That's really, really funny is the thing.
Just at Ted. I think here's me. I see a playbook called Old, and I'm like, great. I'll be the oldest person imaginable. God, do I want to have a spouse or be a parental figure? Hey, Jeff, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about me being a parental figure to you?
I'm not opposed to it, is the thing. Like, I feel like these characters, I feel like I like the relationship that applies, that like that makes me effectively the Rusty Venture to your Brock Sampson, and that feels pretty that feels like the vibe that we were already laying down.
You know what? I think I like this. I don't think either of us would ever say it out loud, but I do think that we have it as the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to take Secret of the Parental Figure. You have a child, adopted, biological, surrogate, etc., or pet that you look after. I think that you're the pet that I look after.
Great.
You try your best to juggle a life of crime and rearing, add 2 tags from the trait Peanut, unlock the rest of the XP.
So what tags are you putting on my character who as Peanut?
I think I'm going to take empathy. I think that there are a lot of people who get sick of your shit pretty quick, but I think that I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I'm also going to take the trait adulting. I think that I cover for you in a lot of ways that people normally wouldn't, or that you would be very bummed out if you had to do yourself, but I can't help it.
All right. Well, I was actually
Does that work for you?
That works really well, and I'm fully going to change my second pick and reverse this back to you.
Okay.
Because I have an option that is, oh no, wait, I also have parental figure, so I'm gonna stick with having hangers on because I like that. I like you being the parental figure in our arrangement. That is funny to me, and I want to keep that where it is.
I think it's very much you get to like manage your social media and hang out with your friends because I'm the one that covers your rent a couple times a year, you know? Like,
yeah. You're the reason I'm not dead, and so therefore I act very flippant with all of the crime stuff that I get into.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so in addition to our secrets, we already have these selected for us, and we'll read them off for the listener, but we also have keys. Keys are what allow us to get experience points, which allows us to buy new stuff. Our keys, when we activate our keys, which each one has a trigger that tells us when we can turn the key, we'll get an experience point. When doing so would put us in a great deal of trouble, we can get a second experience point. So my keys are the key of the mediator. I excel at diffusing situations that are about to blow because I have better things to do than watch grown adults play fuck around and find out. I turn the key when I start a conversation to avoid a conflict. You can also buy off the key by doing certain things to basically like resolve that key, and then you replace it with something else off of the book. It's off of the book. So in my case, I can buy this off by getting into a screaming contest because no one is listening to me.
Okay. I want to pretend that I understand how this works now that you've said that in the episode. Do I have the 2 that are on my character sheet?
Yes.
And then I add 2 more from that list above. Is that what we're doing here?
No, you can buy those with experience points later. If you accumulate 5 XP, you buy another one and add it. Or if you buy off one of your keys, if you do the thing that it says like buy off the key, you eliminate that one and then you replace it with another one off of the book.
Okay, so right now I just have key of the tight ship and key of the hat tip.
Correct.
Great. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and read those off as things that I have.
All right.
Cool. All right. My keys as the old are the key of the tight ship. I am punctual, professional, and prepared. I nip problems in the bud and make sure mistakes don't happen. Turn this key when you make sure the task gets done efficiently, even while under pressure. I can buy it off by doing a task myself because clearly no one else can get the job done. And I also have the key of the hat tip. I'm respectful on and off of the clock. Unprofessional behavior reflects poorly on everyone. Turn this key when you mind your manners or tell others to do the same. And my buy off is to haul the over the coals.
And my second key is key of the upper crust. I am the cream that has risen to the top. I seize every opportunity to demonstrate that I am better than you. I turn this key when I make myself look good, and I can buy it off when I give up the spotlight. We also have 3 team keys, which we cannot buy off, but they are just ways for us to earn XP by bouncing off one another. We can get XP when we are acting together as a unit by turning the key of camaraderie. When we find fun and amusement in whatever we're doing, we turn the key of the night on the town. And the key of the bon mot, which is whenever we partake in good-natured banter.
Okay. I also have the key of the bon mot. I also have the team key of the mentor. We both think highly of each other despite the ocean of years between us. Turn this key when your generational experience aids the other. And the team key of camaraderie, that says the 3 of you turn this key if you're working together as a unit.
Yeah, I think if we would have a third person, it would be all 3 of us working together, but we've got 2, so it's just the 2 of us working together.
Yeah, so the other one that I have is the team key of the mentor.
All right, so that's our characters in a nutshell. We've got Ted. I am naming myself Dance Apocalyptic. I am a dancing themed supervillain. I think that This feels like the gimmick I have in my head feels very Silver Age comic reinvented for like a forgettable MCU villain, which is like I have a radio that I flip on and I dance as I do crime things. It feels like that feels like very like you saw it play out in a Silver Age comic and then it got rebooted in just a mid-level Marvel movie where they do that as a stylistic touch, and that's what I'm leaning into.
Yeah, I think I am at Ted. I could have given myself a cooler nickname, but it costs too much on this app to rename yourself and it's just not worth it. And frankly, people just know me by now, so why would I change my name? I think I got in when I was younger when the going was good, and I realized that I just have a propensity for middle management. And I probably could have made something cool work at Radio Shack or whatever, but this is where I bought in, and I'm kind of, some people would say stuck here, but I think that has a negative connotation to it. I've made a niche for myself, and also I need to take care of this dancing asshole. Question for you: is that Dance Apocalyptic? Is that just camel cased or is that underscored? How's that written in the app?
Great question. It's Dance _ Apocalyptic. I think Dance Apocalyptic one word was taken. Okay,
sounds good. You just like wiped sweat off your brow that you didn't have to be Apocalypt 1C.
Yeah. Dance Apocalypt 1C is an asshole, and I do not like them. They are beneath me, but I do think about them constantly.
Someone made a troll account just to post on the Snitch app as you.
It makes me so mad. Especially because that post got more likes than my average post does, and that makes me even more furious. All right, so we've got some questions as we kind of fill out the initial us meeting to talk over what the job is. We're going to describe our initial meeting, we'll build the job together, and then we'll go and do that job.
Okay.
So, play starts when we meet to deal with whatever the gig demands. We will ask some initial questions about what we're doing, where we're coming from, and like how we relate to being on the app and being a criminal. So like where do we think you and I having this long time relationship, where do you think we meet when we have a job to take on?
I there's a part of me that wants to say like we bounce between, it depends on who gets the gig first. Either you come to me and we meet at like a very quiet older bar, or we go to you when you have the gig and you want to meet at like a dancier club that I feel very uncomfortable in. But I feel like we should have like a third place that has just become ours.
I think that it is, there's the vibe to try and make it a place that we both enjoy, but I think it's much funnier if it's a place that neither of us enjoys, and it is a legally distinct from Sbarro-esque pizza restaurant.
It's Sbarro, but with a dollar sign.
Fuck. Shit.
This is a villain pizza place. In that they're like, yeah, I think that they were like, we're gonna be cool and edgy and like act like we're affiliated, and then they were just like, oh shit, we made a villain bar. Like only gig economy henchmen come here now. Half of them don't want to pay and threaten to like rob us. I think that this is just a very down and out pizza place because of it.
I like this a lot. So this is where we're meeting. We are surrounded by other dirtbag henchmen. We have to be kind of vaguely a little quiet to make sure that we don't like let slip the details of the job too much.
I'm constantly shushing you.
Oh yeah, because I'm getting very excited. I'm very animated. So I guess so. Yeah, that's where we're meeting. That's where we're talking this through. Some initial questions as we're kind of like having this conversation. Why is Ted using the app?
I think that Ted. I mean, I kind of said it earlier. I think that when he was younger, he was really down and out. I think that just part of me would say like I got into using this app like years ago, but that invents a past where like 30 years ago Uber existed. But like I think that there was a point where I just like needed work, you know. Mm-hmm. Maybe I worked at a Blockbuster that went out of business, and I was like, well, the company I worked for and the industry that I worked for dried up, more in a 21st century way than the steel mill closed, you know. Mm-hmm. And so when it came time for me to try to pivot to something else, I tried to take on, just needed quick money early on, took on a gig. I think it was good money, and I found out that I was good at it. I think that I don't know, maybe started with one crew at one point and like kind of kept working my way through and just got to a good respected place on the app. I think at one point I was like, well, I'll stop if I ever drop to 4 stars or whatever, but I'm just a model henchman.
I really like that. I'm trying to see if any of these other user questions or team questions are ones that are there any other questions on this list on page 9 that you want to answer before we find out the details of the job?
You know, I want to ask you, what is Dance Apocalyptic Citizen life like?
Dance Apocalyptic Citizen life. This also ties into the question of, do I have another job? I think I have what I assume to be is the job of like someone on Succession, having never watched any of Succession, which is just like a thinly veiled allowance job that I am like expected to show up to and like attend boardroom meetings.
Sure.
I have like a corporate office job that has very pointedly been handed to me by someone with a lot more money and a lot more power that I half-heartedly attend. That like, and so my citizen life is boring but comfortable. It is, and it makes me that much worse of a person that like it is a life that a lot of people would dream of, but I'm just like, but I'm bored. I don't want to go to a meeting. And it's like, no one's asking me in that meeting for my opinions or to help direct the company. They just need me to show up, and this app is functionally my elaborate temper tantrum at being asked to do anything other than what I want to do at all times.
It sounds like I think you have the kind of job that Ted would like absolutely excel in the corporate world, but Ted doesn't know you have a job like that, and you're too self-centered to ever have the thought, Ted would be really good at what I do.
Never once crossed my mind.
Never, absolutely not.
It's because I only see you in the context of being a henchman, and you're a great henchman, so I just assume that you're just thriving. I assume that this is everything that you've wanted out of life. I have never once examined that might not be the case.
I think that Ted is at the point where it's like a step under contentment, where I think that he's like, maybe it's like a step over contentment, where it's like, I'm not happy necessarily as a henchman, but I do it well, and the pay is good, and I don't dislike it enough to really reach for anything else, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's where I am in the henshin game. And so I would never ask you, what do you do outside of here? I'm thinking about getting out of the game.
Yeah, that feels great. And I've never thought to have the conversation because I assume everyone is doing this for the same reason that I am. I assume we all have rich parents. We're all throwing temper tantrums. Like, that's why we do this, right? It's for fun.
Right, exactly.
Great. So we are in $, and we have gotten a job on the app. We have gotten so we are going to walk through on page 10. We are going to walk through some suggestions and talk through like what is the job that we have been hired to do. We'll start with what is the crime. The examples in the book are arson, body disposal, debt collection, forgery, motor vehicle theft, murder, payback, robbery, or a smear campaign. An important note is that Seiban does not post gigs that include bombings, kidnappings, or mass shootings.
Well, damn, there go all my suggestions. I think what page is this?
This is page 10 in the book.
I like the idea of this being a multi-crime gig. Like this is we're here to like burn down a building and steal a guy's car from it. Maybe that's all part of a, payback scheme or a debt collection. This is we're sending a message by a couple different angles.
I like that. I really like that. Yeah. So it is listed as payback. It's God. You know what that says to me is that this is one of those like terrible. Oh, it just keeps getting worse because this is one of those like job postings that you click it and it says it's one thing and then you really get into the job description and it's got 8 more job responsibilities in it.
Yeah, you open a DoorDash order and you're just like, oh, 1 coffee, yeah, I can pick that up. But it's a Starbucks order that's like super customized and you're just like, this is like 6 drinks worth of coffee. Never mind.
Yep, that's exactly what this is.
Perfect.
That tells me that I am the one that accepted it because I didn't look at it closely enough, and I have been like explaining this to you, and you have just been quietly taking in like, oh, you have no idea what you just accepted.
Can I like this idea. I want to throw an extra wrench into things from this gig location examples. Okay. I think that I like the idea of boy, I'm glad I'm saying this out loud into a podcast. I like the idea of arson. I also like the idea of stealing a weird vehicle. Okay. One of the gig location examples is an aquarium, and I love the thought that we have to burn down an aquarium.
That's really funny.
We have to burn down an aquarium and steal the like educational shark van that they drive to schools.
That's great. I think that I gotta put in that we also have to steal a fish. We gotta just like there's just a rare fish that needs to be that like whoever's trying to get payback is like, I want that fish.
I'm gonna Google the Newport Aquarium, which is the aquarium that I went to growing up. I want to see if they have any special things going on at the moment. There's an exotic fish that's only here for another like week, so we have to steal it now. Yeah. Damn, nothing fancy. Newport Aquarium, get it together.
I feel like the Adventure Aquarium in Camden has to have something going on. They're like a special event. They're like a big.
I have an important question for you, and this might be us adding too many complications to one gig.
I'm on board. I feel like that's great.
Is this that they have one rare like zebra fish or whatever? They've got one of a very exotic fish in a tank that we have to steal. They've got one Japanese octopus of a special variety that we need to grab. Or is it we need you to grab a specific dolphin or whatever?
It is an octopus that predicted the World Series. They have a celebrity.
Okay.
They have a celebrity octopus that correctly guessed all 7 games of the World Series.
Yes, I like this. A celebrity octopus. Perfect.
And we are stealing the celebrity octopus.
He has his own wing of the aquarium.
Yeah, it's a whole exhibit. You know, once a day they come out and they ask it questions, and it gets a shockingly high percentage of those questions right. And it's like, well, we gotta get the octopus.
Earlier today, it said, "I'm going to be kidnapped. This place will be burned down." And people were just like, I don't know what that means.
It did that. I think that the visual we get, like, Dance is breaking this down, right? Like, Dance is outlining all of this, and we see a pan over shot. The octopus is, like, tapping. It's, like, tapping. It's got little, like, almost Morse code things, and it's tapping, and we're seeing the letters pop overhead that's like, I will be kidnapped. This place will burn down. Alert, alert. But it's in between showings, so there's no one, like no one is paying attention.
Perfect.
All right, so we've got our client, so we've got our target, which is octopus and aquarium staff. So who do we want this to be from?
I think that this is something that is like, it doesn't make sense to us, but it will make sense to our victim and to the person that placed the hit.
Okay, I like that. I really like that.
It's like the donor who donated something recently to the aquarium, but like through a back alley channel, so it's not someone we would know, you know?
Yeah, that feels great. I like that.
It's very much two dragons playing a game with each other that makes sense to them on their scale, but like we're just like, I don't know, something burned down.
All right, that feels good. So we've talked through what the gig demands. How dangerous are we looking here? Like, what is the level of danger that we're expecting as we go in, even if that answer might change wildly once we get into it?
This doesn't feel very dangerous, I will say. It feels complex and hard, and we have to like manage our time well and avoid the police or whatever security they have. But we're not like trying to invade another another minion guild or whatever.
Right.
It would seem at a glance. Maybe that changes, but like,
I like that.
They only hired 2 of us because we're just like, yeah, we could knock out a guard.
I think that this, one of the next questions is like, how much does this pay? I think this pays a lot, but not as much as the complexity demands.
Right. It pays a lot for it pays a lot for a payback mission, but not as much as an arson or motor vehicle theft combination mission should.
Right, exactly. That feels great. And is there a time crunch, and what is at stake if we fail?
1 night. It has to be done on the 23rd, at least overnight. Doesn't necessarily have to be like before midnight. I think if we fail, I can't think of anything major that would be a fail case, but I do like it's tough because we're also saying it's not worth that much. So it feels weird to be like, but there's a harsh penalty.
Yeah. And what I'm going to say is like, pushing that further, it has to be done before 9 a.m. or before 10:30 a.m. on the 24th, or like, like 8:30 a.m. feels like a good, like the aquarium is open and it's like, it opens at 8, half hour later is the first octopus show. It has to be done before its first prediction. Because
I think it has to be done a little earlier because it has to be done before before the first employee shows up.
Okay,
which would be like, I don't know, the curator, whatever the biggest head of a museum is. Let's pretend that the people that are big head in charge are the first to arrive at a job.
That feels right.
But like the guy that is, well, no, we said the sponsors victim, but like before the CEO or whatever of the aquarium would show up to work at 6:30.
Okay, yeah, that feels great. I like
so
that.
Like dawn.
Okay, so that's the job. That's the job in a nutshell. We have laid things out, and now we are going to now we're gonna work through. And we're gonna collectively lay out how the job goes down, what situations we get into, and how we solve things, and then we'll roll some dice, we'll turn some keys, we'll collect some experience, and then we'll cause some trouble.
Sounds good.
So what's the first obstacle that we get into? What is the What's the first thing that we have to get through to get this job accomplished?
Okay, so we have to set up a plan. How do we burn down an aquarium?
That's a great question.
Jeff, I don't know if you know this. There's a lot of water in an aquarium. So I think step one is figuring out what we do with the water and the moral guilt of what we do with the fish.
We just steal all the fish. That's step one, right? We got to get rid of the fish. We don't want to hurt the fish. We just steal all of the fish and we put them into, I don't know, smaller tanks.
So here's the problem. We have a getaway car established, and that is the shark educational service that they drive around to places. It's like a bookmobile, but for shark facts. We have to steal that for some reason. That can barely fit us in the octopus with all the educational material in the back. We're going to have to empty that out.
What if we make it we've got the app. What if we make it what if we hide the job, but we make it a viral prank? You know, like we're going to move the fish and the people are going to come in and all the fish are going to be gone. And then as that's happening, we get rid of the water. As the fish are being held, we burn down the place and steal the octopus.
So we post our own, like we're posting our own thing saying like, hey, you should come steal some fish.
I'm thinking a little bit of maybe not fully posting a job. Like I've got enough followers that if I kind of set this up like a prank video, I think I could get people on board without having to pay them, which is I think a crucial obstacle at this stage of the game.
Does this world have a Namor?
I think it has to, right?
Or like a Black Manta, some supervillain that we could reach out to and just say like, hey, a lot of bad things are going to happen to a lot of fish unless you come evacuate them from this aquarium that you already don't like. You've pulled a couple you have tried to lay siege to this place a couple times before getting stopped by superheroes. You should know that this place is going to lose all their fish tonight if you don't stop it.
I love this. I think we have the conversation of what's going to happen to the fish, and we pan over what is the layer of this aquatic themed supervillain.
I think that it's like a giant. I think that it's like a giant sea mine.
Okay.
Like it is attached to the ocean floor by a giant chain, and then it's a giant like floating in air quotes building that like floats off the ocean floor, but it just kind of sits there in the middle of the bay.
That's really funny. So we are walking up to this. We are walking up to this supervillain's hideout, this mine that is floating in the bay. I
just have a little canoe.
Oh fuck! We are absolutely canoeing over to it. What's going through Ted's head at this moment?
I think. Okay, I'm a professional. I'm mad at you for taking this job and not like vetting it first. I always tell you got to like vet. It's the first step of anything, is to like actually read what you're doing. And I'm very mad that you haven't read any listing that you've ever taken, and I have to do that. I think that I am also. Have you ever had a friend that is like, I like you as a person, but I also know that you're embarrassing, so I don't really want to meet other people while you're around?
Andrew, I have those friends, and I have been those friends.
I think I'm about. I need you to come up with a name for this supervillain for us. But I think that I'm upset that I'm about to meet evil Aquaman, and I'm next to a guy named Dance_Apocalyptic.
Great. Because this is like a mine. This is one of those big. This is the base equivalent of one of those big undersea mines. It's got a chain holding it to the ocean floor. This is Torpedo. Torpedo is a Cold War era underwater supervillain who just never really gave up the sort of submarine aesthetic and has been, and shifted from after the Cold War ended, shifted into being a like protector of the ocean's anti-hero.
Okay, I like that. He's very vocal about the fact that he's not affiliated with U-Boat.
Yes, absolutely. They have a long-standing rivalry. So we pull up. I think we are met in the water in front of the mine by a submarine, just needlessly, and then Torpedo like climbs out, stands on the hull of the submarine, and like insists on having the conversation there.
This guy won't even invite us in? Jesus. Okay. Hello.
State your business, sailor.
Hi, I'm Ted. You may know me. I've got a 4.9 star rating on the app. Very highly regarded. I come to you with a dire warning about a threat to marine life.
We're gonna steal some fish. We want you to steal some fish.
Look, you know, Old Bay Aquarium, the one you can see it just there with its shining tower. You've tried to assault it multiple times. I know you know of it.
The scourge of my existence.
Right. Wouldn't it be cool if all their fish disappeared?
It would be. I'm gonna have you. I'm gonna give you an XP here because you are minding your manners here, and you are making sure that I mind my manners by doing the talking and not letting me embarrass ourselves. So I'm gonna give you an XP here, and then I'm gonna have you roll. I think this is a roll to see if we can get Torpedo on board to steal these fish.
Okay.
So the way that this works, you are going to invoke any number of your tags, your offense, any tags or offense notes on your character sheet. You're going to invoke them, and you're going to roll that many You're going to roll 1d6 plus 1 for every tag that you want to invoke here.
All right. So I'm going to. Okay, on my tags, I'm going to invoke insightful and cleanup. I think insightful because I know about his past with them, and I'm trying to like play to his ego a bit on that. Cleanup because I'm trying to make sure that like we're taking care of. Saying taking care of witnesses feels weird when I'm talking about a bunch of fish, but like we are trying to minimize casualties, even if those casualties would be exotic fish.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think tough, rescue. Well, maybe rescue.
Rescue feels right here. I'll give the dice for that.
Okay. I don't think skeletons works here. I'll be honest, I liked that from name feel. I'm not sure what skeletons means. I'm glad to have it on. I got something in my back pocket. I haven't figured out what it is. All right. I'll invoke skeletons like 20 minutes later in this podcast episode, and it's going to be great.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I think. Okay, rescue, cleanup, and insightful, and then I get 1 dice regularly, right?
Yeah. You always start with 1, and then you add an additional 1 for every tag that you want to invoke. So you're going to roll 46s.
Okay.
Anything that rolls 4, 5, or 6 is a hit, and a 1, 2, 3 is a miss, and you need to get 2 hits.
I don't know if you like that dice.
That felt good.
Into the mic. That is a 6, a 4, a 3, and a 1. So 2 hits.
All right. I think you invoking that it's his old nemesis is exactly what got Torpedo. Like, you continued to explain like what needed to be done, and you see that he's just all like. The camera is close up on Torpedo, and you're talking over like his shoulder. He has turned his back to you, and he's just monologuing under his breath about his long history with Old Bay Aquarium. We do see like silently me pipe up 2 or 3 more times, and you like swat me down.
I have improvised weapons. I just kind of jab you with an oar.
You see me, the wind fully leaves my lung as I am just wheezing on the side of the canoe. He, without a word, just gets back in the submarine, and you see it like, you see the air bubbles trail towards the aquarium like he's doing it right now.
Oh shit. Okay. Wait, what if he steals the octopus?
Oh, we didn't tell him not to steal the octopus.
We didn't tell him not to steal the octopus.
We just got to steal it first.
Shit. Okay. New plan. We break in right now. It's business hours. Also, I guess we had this meeting in broad daylight.
That feels very Venture Brothers is the thing.
Okay. He's going right now. We are... Fuck it. We're going to break in. We're going to steal this octopus right now. And then we're going to get out. We will come back later and burn the place down.
That feels good.
I hate it when you agree with my plans. Let's go.
All right. So what does the break-in to steal the octopus look like? I think that like I want to grab some XP and turn a key here and get us into trouble, because ostensibly we have a pretty nice advantage if we wanted to break in, because a submarine supervillain is going to explode out of the water, and there's going to be just like a massive panic and people scrambling in all directions. But that doesn't really work for the key of the upper crust, where I have to make myself look good.
His torpedorks are gonna burst in.
Fuck. They are genetic. They are 40K style genetically charged super like fish. They're fish people is what they are. And they are his genetic super minions, and they are charging in, and like we could just use the chaos to slip in and get the octopus, but that doesn't make me look good. So I am coming down through a skylight on some sort of fan pack. Some sort of elaborate jetpack situation.
Sounds good. I think getting up to the roof is something I would have done in my younger days, but my knee has really not been what it used to be. I think that I'm going to check my pockets. I do not have enough on me to cover the price of admission right now, and I don't bring my wallet and debit card when I do villainy. So I think that I'm just going to like try and sneak in the back through the delivery bay. Just tried and true classic.
All right. So I think you're able to sneak in without an issue, because there are mutant fish people like laying siege to the aquarium. I think that like your plan, like the plan that makes sense works without it, like goes off without a hitch. I think I have to roll for my... If you had from a scale from 2, which is fairly easy, to 5, which is borderline impossible, how difficult do you think that this is for me to like break in and get to the fish in the most elaborate, all eyes on me way possible?
I think whatever I land on, I want to knock it up by 1, because of what you just said. You are competing for the attention with fish people laying siege to an aquarium.
Okay.
I think that a question for you: how easy is it for you to fly?
I think I think using my weapon, which is nonsensical gadgets, I think it is like I think I can fly in a single direction fairly easily. Like I can control it fairly straightforward. If I have to maneuver, immediately out of the question.
Do you have a separate grappling gun for getting up to places, and then you have a hover belt for hovering otherwise?
That's like it hovers. It hovers me down is what it is. I have a hover belt for going down, and a grappling gun for going up.
You get a Buzz Lightyear style falling with style.
Exactly.
Backpack. Perfect. Okay. If you've got these two different things, I think that I want to say, normally I'd say 2, so I think 3, because you're trying to compete for the attention.
Okay. I'm going to invoke my weapon, nonsensical gadgets.
Yep.
I am invoking dancing. I think that like one of the ways I'm stealing attention is by like I hit a button on a wrist panel, and like music, like my chosen music starts playing on all of the speakers to be like, aha, I'm stealing something. And
another crime excellently performed by Dance Apocalyptic.
And I'm actually going to invoke piggyback here, because I am using, like, I think that I am making it seem like the fish people are also part of my deal. which is just going to make Torpedo angry.
Can I assist you with this plan? Because I've looked at the blueprints for this place. I've already memorized where we're going. I know what we're doing here, and I've told you, like, okay, there's a skylight. Not that building. That building is where the dolphin tanks are. You're going to want to go to that building, or that section. If you go to the back there should be a skylight there by the sea urchin exhibit. Go through there, make a left. That's where you'll find the octopus tank.
All right, yeah. Turn the key of the tight ship. This is you making sure things are done efficiently.
Cool.
And all right, so then
how do I turn a key?
That's just you get an experience point.
Great, that's what I thought. Okay.
All right, I'm going to add an extra dice for that to bring me up to 5 dice. I have to get 3 successes. That is exactly 3 successes. It works perfectly. We get into the octopus room. I think we see the letters on the LED board are just like, as you and I like lift up the tank that the octopus is in, are just writing like, unhand me this instant, as we like moving van style like waddle off with this octopus tank.
Where are we bringing the octopus right now? Do we just want to try and stick it in the van for later?
That feels good. That feels like a good plan.
And just be like, we're going to store this here. We're going to put a couple of like, I'm just like, I don't know, man. Octopuses are like birds, right? I'm just going to put like a tarp over it and be like, it's nighttime. Go to sleep.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's really funny. And yeah, we see the fishmen walking off with all of the fish, the place, which means that now it's time for us to break back in, burn the thing down, and steal the truck. But I think it has the added detail that now it is crawling with, which, let me ask you, I'm going to ask you a 2-part question real quick.
Yes.
What is, I have a thought. I'm going to ask you this. The question from the game is, how does the fuzz feel about people who use the app, and how do they identify people that use the app?
How does the game feel about it?
I want to say that the cops pretty much once they see that you're on the app, they take their hands off, and that feels good because ACAB.
Okay,
that
yeah.
feels like the energy that I like. I do want to what oppositional force it has arrived on the scene now that a supervillain has struck the aquarium?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think that once the app is involved, the only reason I would see cops taking their hands off is because that's when heroes get involved, right?
That feels good.
This is when we're getting into the Venture Bros style, like cops aren't here, it's time for the guild, or not the guild, the OSI to get involved, you know?
Yeah, that feels good. I like that a lot.
I think Bay City's number one superhero shows up. I think there are 2 heroes at play here. I think that there is the Aquaman equivalent, who is Torpedo's nemesis. Or Torpedo's his nemesis. Is Superman someone's nemesis? Is that?
I think so. I think you would say right? Superman is Lex Luthor's nemesis. I think that feels.
It feels wrong to say it both ways, though. Nemesis feels like that's the villain, but but no, yeah, I think that Torpedo's Aquaman shows up, as well as whatever Gotham has Batman, Metropolis has Superman, Wally West has whatever his city is for the Flash. I think that their superhero is like, don't worry, citizens, I'm here on the scene. I'll get those fish back someday.
Coral Reef is the Aquaman, and it is a sentient coral reef, but it is delivering a very deep, like, Shakespearean monologue about like the beauty of fish that have been snatched away by cruel, cold hands. We're seeing this unfold.
Is Coral Reef like a MODOK?
I was envisioning like a Swamp Thing, but a MODOK is much funnier.
Just like it's like a giant reef in a tank with little arms and legs.
Yep, and a little jet that makes it fly around.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, hell yeah.
and it like its voice comes through a radio speaker, and it is delivering this monologue as it butters in the air.
People can barely understand it, not because it's like incomprehensible, but because the speaker is still from like an old diving suit.
Do you know it sounds like it fucking sounds like the Grand Galactic Inquisitor. It is that exact voice effect.
Yes, it is. It is too loud, and also the speaker's just not equipped to handle like actual tone of voice. You're just like, what did you just say?
It's just rattling off like,
These beautiful creatures have been shoveled off into a world of peril by men's cruel hands right in the military.
you're like, I can't understand it. I've gotten maybe a third word from it.
These undersea delights will be right back to business. And it's just like, what the fuck did you just say? Undersea delights?
And Bay City's hero is I'm looking at the shelf of superhero figurines that I have directly next to my recording booth.
I'm thinking Coral Reef feels honestly, they're like us. Coral Reef is old, ancient, smart, and undersea. And then I think that I'm thinking more of a Flash than a Batman, you know?
That feels good.
Someone that Dance Aquatic feels like, but would get knocked out by in an instant.
Yeah. This is this is No Clip. No Clip is a well, it's a bit of a misnomer because his powers are entirely clipping based. Like he is a Shadowcat style like phasing hero whose whole thing is can run through any surface and can like can fly and leap through walls and things like that.
You can do short teleports.
Kind of a speed run themed phasing hero.
Yeah, I think he does. The thing with him is that he looks like he is like lagging in a video game. He'll like he walks at a normal speed, but in a way that like he freezes up and then kind of warps forward a little bit as if he'd been walking the whole time.
That's sick. That's really sick.
And he can do that through walls and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I really like that. So they are walking side by side. They're examining the scene. The aquarium is closed. I think we see the two of them show up and we watch the cops be like, all right, it's out of our hands. Let's go get some donuts. They walk off and like they are examining just as we show up with the worst possible timing imaginable.
Who's the younger guy again?
The younger guy is No Clip, and the older hero is Coral Reef.
Sorry, I was going Ted talking to Dance Aquatic. My bad. Or Dance Apocalyptic, not Dance Aquatic.
Dance Aquatic is an ally of Coral Reef. Dance Apocalyptic gets confused for Dance Aquatic sometimes. It's like they're not even on the app. I think the young guy is any percent. Does that sound right? It's like it's a GDQ thing, but is it couch? Is it just couch?
Shit, these gamers today. Back in my day we had Atari and we liked it.
I feel like we could probably he's young. He's probably got student loans. We could buy him off, right?
You think so? The thing with young heroes, you don't get it. If he were just about student loans, he'd be right here with us, right?
Yeah.
I think that what it is, he wants to prove himself. Look at him, young hotshot. He's got look at his boots. Okay, do you see how shiny those are?
Yeah,
those are
he
new.
spent money on those. He spent money on those.
Spent money. They're new. He's got nothing. Okay, he needs an arrest to get on his record. So, on one hand, we've got experience on our side. We can probably take him by surprise. We've got tricks. On the other hand, be careful. He's hungry.
No,
it's the worst thing about superheroes.
Yeah. I got what you're saying. I get what you're saying. All right, I think I know what I can do. I think I can take them both out.
What?
I think I can take them both out.
What? How? Walk me through it.
Okay, his whole thing is that he phases, right?
Yeah, like warps and shit.
So we just get him to phase into the tank. Coral Reef is like, oh my god. Sorry. He's I got to do. Can I do the voice? I'm gonna do the voice. I think I'm gonna do the voice. He's
you
gonna
have
be
to
like,
do it quietly.
oh my god, there's somebody in the tank. And then they're gonna be like flailing around. We just got to like once he's in the tank, Coral Reef's defenses are gonna kick in. They're gonna tangle with each other. Superhero team up. They're teaming up now, but they're gonna fight because they've misunderstanding. And then we just walk off.
That could work. If we can get him in the tank, he becomes a priority. Yeah.
Right?
I respect Coral Reef. Last thing they want is for people to die in water.
Can we respect that I have a good idea? Like, I really would like that noted.
It's a fine idea if you can pull it off.
All right, I'll take it.
All right.
Let's both take an experience for the key of the Bon Mot.
That works for me.
And there is a list of things you can spend your XP on at any time. You can add a new secret. You can add a new key you've never had before. You can increase your maximum die pool by 1. You can unlock a tag on an existing trait, or you can get a pool die up to your maximum for if you spend an XP at any time.
Okay.
So, all right. I think this is going to be a difficult roll, but I think...
What's our dice pool?
It is listed on your character sheet. It's down at the bottom. It is currently 7. And that's how many dice you can roll at any one time.
Oh, so like 7 total.
Yeah, you can roll up to 7 dice at a time.
Okay.
And then you can add dice to that up to that maximum for 1 XP, or for 5 XP you can bump that up to 8.
Okay.
All right. So I think that the plan is that I'm going to roll this out. I'm going to egg No Clip into chasing me and try to specifically like angle myself as I kind of run around, as I kind of like give him a run around to where he crashes into the tank and scraps with Coral Reef.
That sounds good. We do need to take out Coral Reef because they're a water hero and we're trying to light this place on fire.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can I trust you to think about that while I annoy the shit out of No Clip?
You can trust me to think about just about anything.
All right, that sounds great. So, what do you think this difficulty is?
I mean, you're trying to egg a superhero into making a mistake. It really depends on the writer. I think like a 4. Does that sound too hard? Does that sound...
No, that feels good because effectively, like, we're taking out a superhero and we're specifically like, it's an elaborate maneuver, right? Like it is a complicated thing that we're trying to pull off. That feels good. I'm going to pull together my dice pool. I start with 1. What do I think counts here? I think running absolutely counts, and I think dancing also counts. I'm going to count my weapons because I think that like my strategy is largely going to be like activating laser watches and things to kind of get him dancing around a little bit.
Sure.
Draw you into the dance of the dance apocalyptic. I'm trying to decide what else, if anything, I want to count. I might blow my other. So that's 3. I think piggyback counts here. Because I think that like part of the plan is going to be literally grabbing Coral Reef's at a dramatic moment, grabbing Coral Reef's floating tank and just shoving it in the way. I think human shielding is going to fit in here, so I think I'm going to invoke piggyback, and I'm going to spend all 3 of my experience to bump me up to 7.
Cool.
So I have to get 4. 1, 2, 3. Exactly 4.
Hell yeah.
So what happens is like I like pull out of my boot a little like spidery thing. I tap it, it turns into a little like crawly spider mine. It crawls along something, blows up on a window just to get their attention, and then I turn on the music on the aquarium speakers, start dancing around. No Clip is like jumping through fish tanks to try and get me. I am closing in. I'm keeping them off their toes by blasting, just doing little like laser things or activating that like ear thing. Just doing whatever gadget tricks I can. And then at the pivotal moment, they like lunge at me, and I just like, it's not even that I grab it and move the tank in the way. I sort of just shove it because it's sort of puttering, and it just sort of, and then they just like phase right into the tank, and Coral Reef starts screaming.
Perfect. So we've got We've got No Clip drowning in a tank. Coral Reef has burst into the room as well. I'm trying to think, what would I be doing if this happens? I think right now the biggest thing that, like, my big worry about this plan is whether or not No Clip can manage his powers while drowning. My gut says he can't because he's a rookie.
Mm-hmm. That feels good.
And so that's where, like, my next thing is that we need to figure out what we're doing with Coral Reef. And I think that we've got a big bruiser in front of us who is focused on a fish tank at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Do I just want to try and crack his glass?
I mean, that feels like it would work.
It feels like it. I'm trying to think what improvisable weapons would be around an aquarium.
Buckets, hoses.
Yeah, I will say, but the problem is by stealing all the fish already, by letting Torpedo take all the fish, we have lost the opportunity for me to hit someone with a stingray, which I just now realized, which is a real shame. I think I grab just a heavy oxygen tank or something that is related to like
that feels like it'd be around. Yeah,
managing, whether that's from like this, maybe I grabbed it from a break room or something for the people that like clean stuff. And I am going to rush forward and try and smack Coral Reef in the back of the dome.
All right, I think to fully break the glass, I'm going to call this also a 4. I think this is not going to be easy because it is reinforced. Atlantean super glass forged when the Earth was young.
Yeah,
so it's gonna take work.
I agree with that. I'm gonna take. So I got my improvised weapon. I can't take rescue. I'm actively impeding a rescue. I mean, cleanup. I'm trying to like follow up on your plan. Would
good.
You agree with that?
That feels good. I would also say observant works. Like I think that you're able to probably spot like where to hit to break the thing as easily as possible.
Yeah, I think. You know what? We're fighting superheroes as just minions. I'm gonna use all of our experience and also gain dice so that I'm up to 7 as well.
Okay.
All right. So the first 4. It's 2 successes. I just need to get 2 more on a 3. Come on. That is 3 6s.
Fuck. Hell yes.
Damn. All right. I hit real hard.
Yeah. I think it's going back to the Venture Brothers. It's peak like Brock just smashes something. There's no like elegance to it. It just goes off, and now there is like water. So like Coral Reef starts glowing this like purple green glow, and like with No Clip still in the tank, just like hurtles out of there, kind of spiraling, water splashing around because it's like I must get back to the ocean. I must get back to the sacred land beneath the waves.
I love that this hero just immediately abandons No Clip.
No Clip phases back out of the tank, but is just coughing and wheezing on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when that happens, I think that I'm just like, stay down, and I'd smack him as well.
Yep, and he's out of commission. So I think like we are able to get everything into like we're able to like rig up the oxygen tanks to explode to start the fire. I think there's not really any like obstacles, especially since like the place is abandoned and the superheroes are out of the equation. I think that the last challenge for us is going to be how do we get like I think there's got to be like a chase as the shark truck leaves.
Are we just leaving No Clip?
That's fuck. I think that's got to be a discussion that the characters have to have.
Where does Dance Apocalypse? So we have a knocked out superhero who is the shining star of Bay City is in front of us. We have knocked him out. Not necessarily in a like, this isn't a villain scrap, right? This is Henchman doing an app gig where we have like we knocked out the Flash and he's in front of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we just leave him to die? Like, what do you?
I mean, it would be pretty cool to say that we were the people that killed No Clip. Like, that'd be cool, right? Like, that'd be. Fuck no.
We don't get a bonus for it, and the Justice.
They're gonna come after us.
Yeah, the Vigilant Society will be on our asses if we leave No Clip here. He's an up and comer.
You're right. Like we can't. Fuck.
Remember what happened when someone killed Oracle, right?
Yeah, I really wish that we could, but yeah, no, I don't want there to be a fight with the Vigilant Society. It would be really cool. It'd be, we could take a picture.
You would die instantly.
We would pretty much get killed instantly, right?
Omnibus has heat vision.
Fuck, I have a thing that sort of screams at a pitch. Yeah. All right, load him into the truck.
Yeah, okay. We load him in. Is our octopus there?
Andrew, this is where I have to reveal the twist that popped into my head maybe 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yes. All I'm going to say for now is like, yes, certainly. And the octopus has been sitting like extremely still the entire time. And I think like I think other members of the Vigilant Society are like approaching. No, it's not that. It's not what you think. I think that the octopus is just like calmly watching and like tapping the glass. Like the octopus like is fully just waiting for us to get into the car and start driving with it.
Okay. Yeah. We toss No Clip into the trunk. We are crammed.
As we're driving, he's just clipping into like the main thing of the bus, and we have to keep like putting him back in like with different sections of the bus as he keeps just phasing onto the floor.
Have you ever played a poorly optimized game where a vehicle and the person inside of it are clearly two separate objects, and one of them struggles to keep up with the other?
Yes.
I think that's 100% what's happening here. He's like, he wouldn't be worried sitting in the truck, but his body looks like he is not in the truck at some points.
Yes, absolutely. And I think they are I think what this is the trying to think of a good name for a knockoff bat family that are going to chase us on motorbikes. They are called the Swarm, and they are all bug themed, and they like each of them has an individual different bug gimmick, but they are all like this is the Bat Family crossover sequence where we're seeing all of the different members of the Swarm leaping down to like chase after us on their individual bikes and like their individual styles of transport.
I think a flare. We're driving. It seems like we're in the clear, and then a flare goes up.
Yep.
And we're like, fuck, that's lightning bug. I've been around the game long enough to know what's about to happen. I yell, veer right, stick bugs on us.
All right, so let's call this, I think this will be our final roll. Let's collectively each gather up a pile of dice, and we'll make this another 4. I think we'll make this a 4 between the two of us. And we'll just count our cumulative successes.
Okay.
So I am gonna tag Piggyback because I'm following your orders and I am executing them to the letter. I am gonna tag Running because I am running like a coward, and I am gonna tag Educated because I think that like where this aquarium is like the high end part of town, and this is like this is an area that I have spent a lot of time having gone to a ritzy rich people college.
Okay. I'm going to take Insightful because I know a lot about the Swarm. I'm going to take Cleanup because I'm here to try and prevent us from getting brought in after a heist has gone wrong in a couple different ways and we've left a building on fire behind us. I'm going to take Rescue because we rescued No Clip. I just want to because I want extra dice.
I'm
trying to save your ass too because like...
That sounds good.
I'm telling you to like lean to avoid the fact that he's about to reach through a window probably.
Okay, that feels good.
I think it's time. I'm going to take skeletons.
Okay.
I think I figured out what my secret, my skeleton in my closet is. I had a hand in killing the original Cocoon lad.
Fuck. That's really good.
Yeah, I think that I was there when that happened. I didn't do it, but I definitely was working for Pagliacci, the clown streamer villain who
Yep, that feels right.
Who did it. So I guess that adds 5 dice to me, doesn't it?
All right, so I've got 4, you've got 5, and I think we're trying to get. Do we want to say 4? Let's say 4. I think 4 is good.
Okay. I rolled 1 success.
I also rolled 1 success.
No.
All right, then I think I know what happens. I'm gonna look at my secrets. Queen Bee. Queen Bee is the head of the swarm. She is the makeshift. She is the Ursat's Batman. And I am going to get us out. I think I'm going to invoke a secret to get us out of this in the dumbest way possible.
Okay.
Like we are cornered. We are trapped. I think that like I look at you and like I can see the stress on your face and I'm like, okay, fuck. All right. Yeah. And I like pull back my like, I'm wearing one of those like, special forces, the night vision goggles and a breath mask. And I just pull it all off. I'm like, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to take care of this. And I walk out and specifically what I do is I like confront the fact that Queen Bee has been trying to acquire one of the companies that I am like ostensibly in control of.
This is
you want to look, you let us go. I will sign the papers tomorrow. Monday. I'm going to sign the papers Monday. I'm not taking a Friday. I'm not doing it on the weekend. You'll get it Monday morning. I'm invoking a secret of the trust fund. People are willing to accept a bribe.
I like that. I like this because it acknowledges the fact that we all know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. You know, like we all know that Hortensia Cortez is Queen Bee, and she runs the Cortez, Cortez Industries. Like we all know this. I'm just going to say it out loud.
There's definitely a moment where she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, civilian. And I'm like, you keep talking like that. I'm going to pump up the cut that I'm going to bump up my golden parachute from 10% to 15%. And she's like, you wouldn't, you son of a bitch. Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Is it going to be 10% or is it going to be 10% or is it going to be, you let us walk out of here?
I'm hearing this from the van. It's a little over my head, but I see you talking to Queen Bee like you're equals, and I just say, that's my boy.
I'm like, all right, we're all set. We're good. Okay, great.
Stickbug wheels up on his ATV, and he's like, Mom, why are we doing this?
Because fourth quarter starts on the 1st, and I do not want to have that stakeholder meeting.
But villains, Mom.
Yeah, you want real villains? Talk to the people in my boardroom. It's gonna be this is the easiest way for us all to just. Do you want to be able to fight crime, or do you want to be stuck in litigation hearings for the next 6 months?
Ugh, this is aphid shit. And Stickbug drives off. I don't know.
And so she's like, Monday morning. First thing, don't pull any of this. Don't pull this do not pull this time zone bullshit. Do not pull this. You've got to have your weekly scrum first. I want them first thing. Do we have a deal? Yes. All right, I can work with this. And she just rounds everyone up and leaves.
You, how the hell did you talk down Queen Bee?
I mean, how much are we getting from this job?
Not as much.
Not as much as I just signed away, but I mean, fuck it. It's not my job.
Honestly, not as much as we're going to get auctioning off a picture of No Clip's face.
Oh, shit. Well,
Look,
damn.
we got to find our money where we can.
You're not wrong. So where are we supposed to be meeting this client? Do we have an idea?
We're supposed to leave the van in the parking lot of a local Jollibee. Couldn't tell you why, but if no one's chasing us, this is going to be a lot easier than I expected.
All right. Yeah, I think that we pull up to the Jollibee. We get out. We look our separate ways. I'm like, did you want to come in for some chicken, or are you heading out?
Yeah, I could go for some chicken.
All right. So we go in, and I think our closing shot is that we go in. We go in. We order our chicken. We're sitting. We're eating. We're still in costume. And what we see, what we don't see, but the viewer does see, is two tentacles reach out, grab the wheel of the car, and just drive away. The client was absolutely the octopus.
Kicks a no clip out the back as it goes.
Yep, we just see the body flop. Bump, 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 bump.
Perfect.
And that's a game.
That's a game. That was fun.
That was great. That was a blast. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on the show and playing this with me. I had a great time.
Hey, thank you for having me. I love coming up with a Justice League on the fly.
Was fun.
A Vigilance Society.
A Vigilance Society on the fly. That was good. Those were good vibes. Thank you again for playing this with me. Before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
Sure, you can find me. I am at co-host Sherms on Twitter. I'm at just regular Sherms on co-host. It got really annoying when they made a website that was also the word I use in all my handles. I didn't want them to think I worked there, you know?
Right, I got you.
Yeah, co-host Sherms is where you can find me on social media accounts that I want you to find me on. Beyond that, you can find my work. You can find me at Moonshot Pods. You can find the majority of pretty much everything that I do. That is at moonshotpods.com. I've got the podcasts I talked about before that are on part of the Moonshot Network. If none of those sounded interesting to you, there's probably going to be something that does. I know that we've got a bunch of new shows. Don't tell Jeff if you like this show. We figured out a way to do it without Jeff, so we made Alone at the Table, which is just one-player RPGs. Don't tell Jeff. We also got a bunch of other shows that are starting up. A show about emo music, a show about the Guardians of Ga'Hoole book series. We've also got some old favorites, like shows about Percy Jackson and all sorts of stuff that I'm blanking on. A lot of anime stuff. If you like podcasts, you'll probably find something there you like.
It's a good network. I like it a lot. Andrew,
like
thank you
too.
again for... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I like it too. You go right ahead.
Well, thank you again for doing the show. This was so much fun, and I am going to throw it over to me in the future where he can wrap up with the show. Take a future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Andrew for coming on the show. That game was so much fun. Like, Andrew and I have really been wanting to play that game for like a very, very long time. We have been talking about doing like a Venture Brothers style henchman game for so very, very, very long. And like, I could not be happier with how that shook out. It was everything that I wanted it to be and then some. It was an absolute delight. Be sure to head to the show notes for a link to the Kickstarter for The Old, The Cold, and The Bold. Back the game, make it a reality. I like this game a whole lot and would love to see it fully fund and come to life. And if you enjoyed Andrew on this episode, which I really hope you did, I really hope that you'll check out his podcasts. I really like all three of them. Like I said on the episode, Argonauts is an absolute delight. The Podcast Minds is legitimately, easily my favorite podcast currently running. And Mild Mannered it's exactly what the premise sounds like, and it's so, so fun. And finally, be sure to follow Andrew at co-host Sherms on Twitter, then follow us at Party of One Pod, like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast, follow us on Tumblr at Party of One Pod, TikTok at Party of One Podcast, join our mailing list at buttondown.email/partyofonepodcast, and join our Discord at bit.ly/partyofonepodcast. If you enjoyed the show, consider supporting us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or ko-fi.com/JeffStormer, giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Podchaser, or just saying a nice thing about the show on social media. Honestly, like, that goes a long way, and I really do appreciate it. If you finish this episode and think, God, I wish I had more podcasts to listen to, I have got you covered. Check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside at tinyurl.com/Yazeba's podcast, or check out All My Fantasy Children, a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast, where every week my best friend Aaron Catano Saez and I take a listener-submitted prompt, We spin it into an original fantasy character and populate a shared universe one story at a time. New episodes drop every Friday-ish, wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is produced and edited, as always, by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. And additional music for this episode comes from the song Motivational Corporate by Light Saturation. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming onto the show as guests, or about press coverage of the show, shoot me an email at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. As always, party on, everybody.